Hello and welcome back. I'm Peter,
And Melina.
and this is Retire Everywhere. Today we want to talk to you about the things we wish we knew when we started this. And like you, we started off watching a lot of videos, trying to understand how to transition from regular life to retirement to possibly traveling.
Yes, I guess when you get to the point that you're considering to retire, it's a lot of fears and a lot of questions that you have in your brain, and you're like, most of the time, unfortunately, think you cannot retire.
Yeah. So when we think back to what we did, we watched a bunch of videos on retirement, but probably more videos on traveling and destinations, which is great to learn what you want to do. But that's really the first thing that you have to understand if you are transitioning into retirement phase of life, what some people call the second part of your life, is that it's a lifestyle. It's not a vacation. You are no longer just going away for a couple of weeks and then coming back to your old life. Now, you can. There's nothing wrong with retiring and then just taking short trips and vacationing, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about either doing what we did, which is sell everything, leave everything behind, and just put your life into a suitcase and hit the road, or maybe traveling extensively for periods of time, whether it's a few months or half a year or more. So it's really, it's not a vacation. You've got to treat it like this is your new life.
Yes, exactly. Just have in your brain, if I can say that, try to collect in your brain what really is the things that you want to do, or in that part of your life, what is that you're looking for.
Yeah, and also you have more time than a regular vacation. Imagine like we just did, you're going to Bangkok not for a few days on your way to see a bunch of different parts of Thailand or Southeast Asia, or you're here for a week, for a vacation. You're here for, we did 2 months,
Believe it or not.
and
Yeah.
and it's flown by, and we still have hundreds of things we want to see. But that's the good part about being retired is we can come back. So
Yeah, and in that matter we change our plans and look every almost every week. Should we stay 2 months? It's so long. It's short. You
should
know
we
what?
stay the rest of the week?
What is the right thing to do? So yeah, it takes time to uh, make a final decision.
Yeah, I think, and that leads us to the second point, which is flexibility is key. We started off with all these dreams and our bucket list, and we wanted to knock off as many as we could. And we created this itinerary for the first year plus that was locked in. I mean, we booked flights, we booked destinations and Airbnbs with no cancellation policies on too many of them. So we had very little flexibility.
Unfortunately, yeah, we don't take the time to see, like I was talking about in another video. Don't make a plan A and plan B. We go straight to the A and stay in that one.
Well, yeah, once you lock yourself in and you've put so much fixed costs into it, it's hard.
Mhm.
And so yeah, that's what one of the things we've learned is we've done it by switching to hotels and using a lot more points so that we have a cancellation policy in our favor. But also just you don't have to plan out if you're going to come and spend a couple of months in a place. If you've got the first week stay done, that's good enough. You'll figure it out from there. You may get to a part of the city and you go, God, this place is so crazy busy. Or, wow, I love this area. I want to stay more. You can always find another place to stay if it's not the one you're in.
Yeah, and then on top of that, for us, it's being like, should we go next week? Travel days are sucks. Just stay one more week.
Yeah, which is really that third thing we wish we had known. You watch a video about somebody who does a 25, 30, 35-hour travel day of, flights and layovers and long stopovers, sleeping in an airport or an airport hotel, jumping on a bus, jumping on a train. And you think, oh, that's hilarious. That's fun. It sucks. You don't want to do those too often.
No, that's why it's very important to, I keep repeating, have a plan A and plan B.
Well, and also just take advantage of some parts of the travel world that you can get. Some people do repositioning flights, repositioning cruises. So they'll spend several days getting to their next destination. That's not really our goal. That's not our dream. We don't love sitting on a cruise boat, cruise ship for that long. So we did kind of the opposite, which is we did a stopover, which is we broke our flight into 2 flights for the same price. Actually cost us a little bit less on the airfare by doing that. So something to check into, and we'll talk about that more in another video. But you do a stopover in a place that you want to go anyway, but you don't want to stay a month. So you're getting 2 trips out of it and a little mini vacation / just break the trip up into 2 6 7 hour flights instead of one 13 14 16 hour flight, which makes a 30-hour day, because those, as I said, those days kind of suck. Mm-hmm. So the other one, this one is we've been talking about a lot because we've kind of tried it all, and that's knowing your style.
Yes. What kind of traveler are you? If you haven't traveled at all, that's kind of difficult to figure out. But keep in mind that it's very important to ask yourself, are you a slow traveler? Are you a long stay traveler? What kind of traveler are you? What is the things that you will prefer to do in those trips?
Yeah, if you're somebody who can't sit still and you just want to go see everything you can, imagine doing that for a week and you're like, yeah, it's a vacation. Imagine doing that for a month or 2 months or 3 months. Are you going to wear yourself out? Are you going to get sick of it? What happens if you get sick and you've got the next 3 months planned without any breaks and you're just jumping from city to city? So A, flexibility, and B, you might find you really enjoy spending a month in a certain place and just being able to really get to know it, get to know the local vendors and stores and neighborhoods and which bus or which train to jump on to go certain areas, and just really delve into it more than you do on a vacation. Instead of taking a swipe across the city, you get to live in the city, and you don't have to settle down and move there, which we kind of did that too once. um, but yeah, so yeah, really think about it. If you've ever tried it, great, you have an idea. If you've never tried it, that's actually one of those things we recommend now, is whether you're thinking of slow travel, fast travel, or even retiring to a destination, don't go on a vacation there because it's not the same as being there long term. Mm-hmm. Take the time and actually try to live that lifestyle for at least a few months. So if you can, if you're thinking slow travel, go spend 2 or 3 months in, whether it's Europe, South America, Asia, wherever you think you want to go, and take that 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time in places and kind of do a little bit of traveling. You aren't going to see everything you would in a vacation, but you'll get to experience that lifestyle.
Yes.
That's the key. Fast travel, you can do that in less than 3 weeks,
3
probably,
weeks, yeah.
4 weeks.
Exactly.
But if you try
you're going to be toast when you finish.
Some people get energized, but yeah, you can do that, but maybe you go out and do that for 4, 6, or 8 weeks and see what it does to you. We got to the end of 2 months in New Zealand, bouncing around every couple of days, and we were fried. So the next thing we have to talk about when you're talking about how you're going to travel is
luggage. Oh my God. Oh my God. You don't even imagine. Tell us.
So we started slow traveling for a year. So you think, I better take everything I need for a year.
Well, yeah.
So you go from I need a carry-on and a backpack to I need a bigger suitcase to, dear God, you start thinking about a second suitcase. I threw that one out the window. I said, no, you get one of the big suitcases and your carry-on bag, and that's it. Because otherwise you can't take it on your next, it's one thing to check a bag. It's another thing to have to drag that bag through the airport to the train, et cetera, et cetera. So.
And let me tell you something before you keep going. When you're young, no problem. Do it if you want to do it. But when you at this age, you're gonna hate it. It's just so much work. Yeah. It's kind of a nightmare.
I did it when I was younger. Don't do it. I see these people, they're taking their kids on their first trip or some other adventure, maybe going to see the family or grandparents or whatever, and they're carrying like 3 giant rolling bags, and all of them have backpacks, and some of them carry on rolling bags. And I just look at them like, you don't need it.
Exactly.
You can shop everywhere. We did a whole video on this, but dear God, let me just give a small example. So we left the US and half of my bag was filled with not just stuff I didn't need, like dress clothes, but a second pair of running shoes because I was sure I wouldn't be able to find Asics in Europe. What? I also brought along a little bag, not of my toiletries, but of extra toiletries for some reason I was sure I wouldn't be able to
Extra
find.
toothpaste, extra toothbrush, name
Yeah,
it.
it's just in case stuff. And it's just stupid. It weighs down your bag, it weighs down your life. If you're going to get rid of all this stuff and go minimalist at home, why carry it with you?
Mhm.
Because again, there's nothing you can't find in the world
Yes.
unless you have some sensitivity to a particular type of lotion or whatever else.
Unless you're going to the jungle.
Well, yes, that's true. If you're trekking across the outback, there is not a Walmart in sight.
Exactly.
So anyway, so yes, luggage. We've done a video about packing minimal. It took us 2 years of mistakes to learn that. Please bring as little as you need to survive the first week and then go shop.
Mhm.
Okay, so we talked about it. If you're nervous about this new life, you don't really know what it's going to be like. Start small, do a test trip, but don't treat it like a vacation. Treat it like a new life and
Mhm.
see if you like it. It's just like if you were going to relocate to another country, you got to see if you like it for at least a few months before you say, yeah, I want to move here, because another mistake we made.
Yes.
So the next one that you keep going at, reminding me of is research.
Yes, and that's the one that I'm guilty because I don't do a lot of research because honestly, I really don't enjoy that. But he did. He really enjoyed doing that. So please do it for us.
Yeah. So what we mean is just, learn how to get around a city. Watch those videos about the first day and how to arrive in a country and get a SIM card if you need a SIM card, or do an eSIM before you get there, and how to get the train from it. If you're going to rely on jumping in a cab or getting a
Mhm.
driver or whatever, okay, great. That is not in our budget, unfortunately. So we need to figure out how to use transit in a city, and that is one of those things that trial and error can be painful when you're lugging around your luggage. That's why they call it luggage. um, so yeah, do more research, figure out, really, if you want to stay in a place. It's easy to go, yeah, I want to go to Italy, but what part of Italy? If you end up in a remote village somewhere and you were really looking for the excitement of Venice or Rome, hey, you know, and that kind of leads us towards budgets and things like that. Be realistic on your budget. If things cost more than you think or you hope, be ready for that. Have some extra money in the budget to deal with the issues, and that doesn't even count the emergency funds if and if you have to have a medical emergency or some other thing that comes up that's like you got to change your Airbnb or whatever.
Uh, Next, let's talk about if we started over.
Yes, if we go back and slap ourselves 3 years ago and say this is the best thing you'll ever do, but you're going to do it wrong,
Mhm.
do more research, but book less stuff up front. Get yourself to a place and then figure it out. Because if you've locked yourself into a month or two in a place, one
Mhm.
city, and you've maxed out your budget for accommodation, you don't have the ability to just go be spontaneous and go to another city for a weekend. It seems like you're going to blow your budget and all that. So just plan a little less, but research a lot more so you know how to do things.
I personally think that one of the best way to do it is find a hotel that is not really expensive, no very cheap, and stay there at least a week, and then take the time to look around. What is the catching your attention? What is the places that you want to, or museums or whatever you want to go to see?
Yeah, and that is where that other part that we've talked about in other videos, using points for hotels, which in your retirement is we find to be more valuable because you can really stay in a nice place for a fairly modest price out of your pocket because you're using some points you either earned before, or maybe like we do, we buy some points at a good price. You really can get into a city, learn your way around, maybe see a few of the areas, get recommendations, and then heck, if you decide you want to stay multiple months, you can literally get like a Facebook friend referral to an apartment building and get a locals deal almost. So there's
Hmm.
lots of ways to do it.
Yeah.
I think we would tell ourselves that you also need to plan more rest. Enjoy the rest days. If you're slow traveling, you can have a day off or even a couple of days off,
Yeah.
not just because you're sick and then you feel like you're missing stuff, but just you're just like, I'm going to need a day every week just to chill the F out.
Hmm.
So just don't build it into your plan, but just understand it's going to happen and don't stress about it. And if you've booked every day to go see a different site, you're going to feel like you're missing stuff or you're just going to burn yourself out.
Yeah, that's when another one that goes with the when you ask yourself what kind of traveler are you,
Yep.
that that go with that one.
Yeah.
You know, you will enjoy more if you go every day, all day, or you will prefer to have a break in between.
Yep. Yeah. Trust me, a day at the pool, at the hotel, or at the condo you're staying in, or walking the beach, or just something where you're just enjoying yourself, you're being together for a day,
Hmm.
is a nice reset.
Yeah.
So, part of that, flip side of that is bring less stuff. And again, I'm just going to say it, just, you don't need it, for God's sakes. Um, and then the last thing is on the money side. And for us, it was budget more for miscellaneous. They're just those little costs that add up. Make sure you have some extra money in there, and you really don't need to spend as much on food as you think. If you're not going out for fancy meals, it's amazing how inexpensive a lot of countries are. And we've been in Turkey and Portugal and Paris and Istanbul and Singapore and now Bangkok, and you can find inexpensive food a lot of places.
I'm sorry that I'm laughing. This also at this age, it seems like you need to eat
Oh
less.
God, you
So
better eat less. Yeah, unless you want to end up looking like I did in the first videos. Uh, yeah, you can put on weight pretty easily if you start eating, doing your vacation meals.
yeah.
Yeah, especially when you get buffets in the hotels and stuff. It's easy to
Hmm.
overeat. So, eat a little less, relax. But also just you don't need a fancy meal every day because again, you're not
Hmm.
on vacation. This is your new life, and unless you are looking forward to buying 4XL shirts, you don't, just eat a little less, eat a little healthier, find the inexpensive places to go. And you
Hmm.
really will find some great local food for darn near nothing.
Yes.
So we just want to make a fairly quick video for you, talk about things we wish we'd known. And as we say now, we wish we'd listened to these YouTubers that we loved and still watch to this day. So thank you to Brian and Carrie and a few of the other folks out there. And we will talk to you in the next video.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.